Have you found yourself staring at the ceiling when the clock barely nudges 3 a.m.? Or maybe it's 3:30, or even 4 a.m. on the dot. You're wide awake, the house is quiet, and the rest of the world seems to be peacefully asleep, but you're stuck in this uncomfortable twilight zone. You might feel a pang of worry, wondering if something is wrong, or if you're just destined to feel tired all day. This early morning wake-up call, often unwelcome, is a painful reality for so many of us as we get a little older. It can leave you feeling drained before the day even truly begins, wondering why your body just won't cooperate, and maybe even worrying about what it means for your overall health. But what if I told you that waking up before the sun, or even before 4 a.m., isn't always a sign of a problem, but rather a fascinating message from your body, or even just a natural shift that's been completely misunderstood in this video? We're going to unravel the true meaning behind these early mornings. We'll explore why this happens to so many of us in our golden years, what it truly means for your precious sleep and vital health, and, most importantly, we'll look at some incredibly simple yet powerful strategies to help you either get more restful sleep or learn to truly embrace and thrive in those quiet early hours. This isn't about magical cures, but about understanding your body better and making small, thoughtful adjustments that can make a monumental difference. So please, make sure to watch right to the very end. Because I promise you, there's something important, perhaps even surprising, that I want to share with you about your sleep journey. Now, let's really dive into why so many of us find ourselves up before the crack of dawn. It's a very common experience. And often, it's not because something is drastically wrong with your health, but rather due to a series of natural, age-related shifts in our body's internal workings. Think of it like this. Our bodies have a master clock, called the circadian rhythm, which pretty much dictates when we feel sleepy and when we feel awake. As we age, this internal clock actually starts to shift forward. What does that mean? It means our natural tendency is to want to go to bed earlier and, consequently, wake up earlier. So, if you used to be a night owl, you might find yourself feeling sleepy around 8 or 9 p.m., which naturally sets you up for a 4 a.m. wake-up call. Even if you're still craving more sleep, it's not a defect. It's a design change in your magnificent biological clock. Beyond this clock shift, there's also a significant change in the way our bodies produce melatonin, the hormone that helps us feel sleepy. Younger people produce a robust amount of melatonin, which acts like a strong internal lights-out signal. As we get older, our melatonin production naturally declines. This means that while you might still feel tired, that strong, sustained sleep signal isn't quite as powerful, making it easier for you to wake up in the middle of the night or in those very early hours and find it harder to drift back off to sleep. It's like having a dimmer switch instead of a full off switch for your internal lights. And it doesn't stop there. Our very sleep architecture changes too. Imagine your sleep like a building with different floors. A ground floor of light sleep, a middle floor of deep, restorative sleep, and a top floor of REM, or dream sleep. As we age, we spend less time on that valuable middle floor, the deep, restorative sleep. This deep sleep is crucial for feeling refreshed and for physical restoration. Instead, we spend more time in those lighter stages of sleep, which means we're much more easily disturbed by noises, light, or even our own thoughts. You might wake up for a moment, and because you're in a lighter sleep stage, it's harder to sink back into that deeper, more continuous rest. This fragmentation of sleep can make 6 hours feel less restorative than 6 hours did in your younger years, leading to that feeling of waking too early and still being tired. Now, let's talk about something incredibly powerful. Something we often don't give enough credit to: light exposure. Light, especially natural sunlight, is the strongest cue for our internal body clock. It tells our brain whether it's day or night and helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle. In our younger years, our body might be more resilient to varied light exposures, but as we age, we become much more sensitive to it. If you're waking up before 4 a.m., even a sliver of light peeking through curtains, or the dim glow of a digital clock, can be enough to signal to your brain that it's time to wake up. And if you then immediately turn on a bright light, check your phone, or step into a well-lit room. You're essentially shouting to your body, "Wake up, the day has begun." This reinforces the early waking pattern, making it harder to shift your internal clock later. To harness the power of light, start by making your bedroom as dark as humanly possible. Think blackout curtains, eye masks, and covering any glowing lights from electronics. This creates a truly dark cave that tells your brain it's still nighttime, even if you're briefly awake. But it's not just about darkness in the morning. It's also about managing your light exposure throughout the day, getting bright natural light, especially in the morning hours after you intend to wake up. Helps to solidify your desired wake time. Aim for a brisk walk outdoors or just sitting by a bright window first thing in the morning. Conversely, in the evenings, start dimming the lights in your home a few hours before bedtime. Avoid bright overhead lights and blue light from screens, phones, tablets, computers, as this light specifically suppresses melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. This simple shift in light management can profoundly influence your body's natural rhythm and help gently coax your sleep schedule back into a more desirable pattern. Understanding these fundamental changes in our biology, the shifting clock, reduced melatonin, altered sleep architecture, and sensitivity to light, is the first step towards feeling more in control of your early morning wake-ups. And it gives us powerful clues about what adjustments we can make. Building on these biological insights, let's explore some other significant factors that often contribute to those unwelcome early morning awakenings. One of the most prevalent reasons, especially as we age, is something called nocturia, which is just a fancy word for waking up to use the bathroom multiple times during the night. Our bladders simply don't hold as much urine as they used to, and our kidneys can produce more urine at night. Couple that with certain medications that might act as diuretics, or even just our natural fluid intake throughout the day. And it's no wonder many of us find ourselves needing a bathroom break. The problem isn't always the need to go, it's that once you're up, especially in those lighter sleep stages we talked about, it can be incredibly difficult to fall back asleep. To manage this, try to be mindful of your fluid intake, especially in the hours leading up to bedtime. Avoid large drinks, particularly anything caffeinated or alcoholic. In the evening, alcohol, while it might initially make you feel sleepy, actually fragments sleep and can lead to more frequent awakenings and bathroom trips in the latter half of the night. Also, try elevating your legs for a bit in the evening, or even wearing compression socks during the day if your doctor approves, as this can help reduce fluid retention in your legs that might otherwise make its way to your bladder overnight. Speaking of medications, they play a surprisingly large role in sleep disruption for older adults. Many common prescriptions, from blood pressure medications to antidepressants, decongestants, and even some over-the-counter pain relievers, can have stimulating or sleep-disrupting side effects. If you've recently started a new medication or changed a dosage and noticed a shift in your sleep patterns, it's worth having a conversation with your doctor or pharmacist. Never stop taking a medication on your own, but open a dialogue about whether adjusting the timing of your dose or exploring alternative medications could help improve your sleep without compromising your health. They might have insights into which medications are more likely to cause wakefulness and suggest alternatives or strategies to minimize their impact on your precious sleep. Then there's the insidious impact of stress and anxiety. It's hard to imagine anyone over the age of 60 who doesn't have some degree of worry or stress in their lives. Whether it's about finances, family, health, or even the very act of trying to sleep. These worries don't magically disappear when our heads hit the pillow. In fact, for many, the quiet hours of the early morning become a prime time for these anxieties to bubble up. Your brain, unburdened by the distractions of the day, starts to chew on problems, creating a mental treadmill that keeps you wide awake. If you find your mind racing at 3 a.m., full of worries or planning for the day ahead, it's a clear sign that stress is a major player. Incorporating gentle stress reduction techniques into your daily routine can be transformative. Simple things like short meditation sessions, deep breathing exercises before bed, or even keeping a worry journal next to your bed where you can jot down any troubling thoughts before trying to sleep can help offload that mental burden. The idea isn't to solve the problem at 3 a.m., but to acknowledge it and then gently guide your mind back to rest. Your dietary habits also hold a surprising sway over your early morning wake-ups. It's not just about coffee during the day. It's also about what you eat and drink in the evenings. Eating a heavy, rich meal too close to bedtime can keep your digestive system working overtime, which isn't conducive to deep sleep. Aim for lighter dinners a few hours before you plan to sleep. And while a glass of wine might seem relaxing, alcohol is a known disruptor of the latter half of the sleep cycle. It might help you fall asleep initially, but it often leads to fragmented sleep and those dreaded early awakenings as your body processes it. Caffeine, of course, is a major culprit. Its effects can last for many hours after you drink it, even if you have your last cup of tea or coffee in the late afternoon. Its lingering effects could be the reason you're waking up feeling wired in the middle of the night. Experiment with cutting off caffeine by noon or early afternoon and see if it makes a difference. Finally, a less obvious factor is the level of physical and mental activity you engage in during the day. Our bodies and minds need a certain amount of sleep pressure to feel truly ready for a long, continuous night's rest. If you're not moving much during the day, or if your mind isn't stimulated by engaging activities, your body might not build up enough of that pressure, leading to less satisfying, more fragmented sleep. This doesn't mean you need to run a marathon. It could be a daily walk, gardening, taking up a new hobby like painting or learning a language, or simply having stimulating conversations. The goal is to provide your body with appropriate physical exertion and your mind with engaging challenges throughout the day, so that when evening comes, your system genuinely feels ready for rest. Similarly, ensure your sleeping environment itself is optimized. Our body temperature regulation changes as we age, and being too hot or too cold can easily disrupt sleep. A slightly cool bedroom, around 65-68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, is often ideal for most people. These seemingly small adjustments to your daily habits and environment can collectively have a profound impact on the quality and duration of your sleep, gently shifting those early morning awakenings into a more restful pattern. So, we've explored the fascinating reasons behind why so many of us older adults find ourselves wide awake before 4 a.m. From natural biological shifts in our internal clocks and melatonin levels to the impact of lifestyle choices like diet, medications, and stress. It's clear that this isn't just a random occurrence. It's a complex interplay of factors unique to our stage of life. But here's the truly empowering part, and perhaps the surprising truth I mentioned earlier: waking up before 4 a.m. doesn't necessarily mean your sleep is broken or that you're facing a health crisis. Often, the bigger problem isn't the early awakening itself, but our reaction to it, and whether the sleep we did get was truly restorative. The surprising truth is that for many older adults, the quantity of sleep might naturally decrease slightly, but the quality becomes paramount. And often, it's the anxiety and worry about not sleeping enough that causes more distress and impacts our daytime energy than the early wake-up itself. What if we could reframe these early hours instead of fighting against them? What if we learned to understand them and, where appropriate, embrace them? If you consistently wake up at 4 a.m., but feel relatively refreshed and energetic throughout the day, it might simply be that your body genuinely needs less sleep now, or that your natural sleep cycle has simply shifted earlier. In this scenario, trying to force yourself back to sleep might be more stressful than simply accepting it and using those quiet hours productively and peacefully. Imagine having uninterrupted time to read, meditate, work on a quiet hobby, or simply enjoy a cup of tea in the stillness of the morning. For some, these early hours become a cherished part of their day, a secret garden of calm before the world awakens. However, if you're consistently waking early and feeling exhausted, groggy, or irritable throughout the day, then your body is definitely telling you something important: you need more truly restorative sleep. This isn't about magical solutions, but about consistent, gentle adjustments to your sleep habits and environment. Let's call them sleep-enhancing rhythms. First, and perhaps most powerful, is establishing a consistent sleep schedule. This means going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day. Even on weekends, this might feel challenging at first, especially if your body clock is currently scattered. But consistency is the strongest signal you can send to your internal clock. helping it to regulate itself and stabilize your wake-up time. Next, create a truly dedicated sleep wind-down ritual for the evening. Not just an hour before bed, but beginning a few hours earlier. This isn't just about putting on pajamas. It's about signaling to your body that it's time to shift gears. Start dimming the lights in your home, especially bright overhead lights. Swap screen time for reading a physical book, listening to calming music or a podcast, or engaging in gentle conversation. Take a warm bath or shower. Avoid stimulating activities or conversations. This gradual slowing down helps your body naturally produce that precious melatonin and prepare for a seamless transition into sleep. Also, truly optimize your sleep environment. We've talked about darkness, but also consider noise. If traffic or neighborhood sounds are waking you up, consider earplugs, a white noise machine, or even a fan to create a consistent, soothing background hum. And remember that cool temperature. A bedroom that's too warm can significantly disrupt deep sleep. Experiment with your thermostat to find that sweet spot. Usually between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18-20 degrees Celsius. Perhaps one of the most transformative strategies is a mindset shift. Many of us get incredibly anxious about sleep, especially if we wake up early. We start looking at the clock, doing calculations, and then worrying about how tired we'll be. This anxiety itself is a huge sleep disruptor. If you wake up, try not to look at the clock. Instead of stressing, tell yourself, my body knows what it needs. If you can't fall back asleep after about 15-20 minutes, don't just lie there tossing and turning. Get out of bed, go to another room, and do something quiet and non-stimulating in dim light, like reading, meditating, or gentle stretching. Only return to bed when you feel genuinely sleepy again. This breaks the association between your bed and wakefulness and reduces that frustrating anxiety. Finally, let's circle back to that surprising truth. While we focused on strategies to help you sleep longer or more deeply, the most liberating revelation for many older adults is that your sleep pattern simply might be different now. And that's perfectly okay. What if those early hours are not a burden, but a quiet, peaceful window of opportunity? A chance to reconnect with yourself, pursue a quiet passion, or simply enjoy the unique tranquility of the pre-dawn world. For some, embracing this natural shift means less frustration and more acceptance, leading to a much more peaceful relationship with sleep, regardless of the clock time. Remember, small, consistent changes, applied with patience and understanding, can lead to profound improvements in your sleep and your overall well-being. Don't underestimate the power of these gentle adjustments. You are perfectly capable of adapting and thriving, no matter what time your eyes open in the morning. I truly hope this conversation has offered you some clarity and comfort about your early morning wake-ups. If anything resonated with you, or if you have your own experiences or tips to share, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you and learn from our wonderful community. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more practical advice and empowering insights designed to help you live your best life at every age. You deserve to feel well-rested, vibrant, and happy.